We've officially made it to Peñasco.
Let's get to work. We are about an hour into our stay here in Peñasco, and we're already getting right into it. I washed the paddleboards, so those are ready to be deflated and put away. Chris is currently working on the anchor and the chain. He's flipping the chain around. So we are just getting right into the projects. I'm gonna work on washing our lines because they are crusty and they need it. So I'm gonna utilize our cooler that never gets used as a cooler and use it as a bucket. I absolutely hate the feeling of crusty lines. So the end of the season, being able to wash our lines and soak them so they're nice and easy to handle again feels amazing. Oh yeah.
What are you doing?
I'm just washing the stack pack for the first time in its life. It's very salty. Has a couple spots of bird poop.
Coming.
I volunteered to wash all of the neoprene and the lazarettes, while Chris removed the chain and the anchor to wash them off.
Not bad. Not bad at all. Avocet has a stupid amount of dive gear for two people who don't really dive. Let me show you. We have Chris's wetsuit. We have a deep water wetsuit that came with a boat. We have a deep water jacket that came with a boat. We have both of my wetsuits from when I was in 7th grade. We have a rash guard. We have a ton of snorkels and a ton of masks. We also have a ton of booties and like 3 different type of hoods. We have gloves. We have fins. We have another deep water jacket. We have another deep water wetsuit. We have another deep water jacket. We have another deep water suit. And we have a light water suit, also known as a sting suit if you're swimming somewhere with lots of jellies. So yeah, I think we got it covered if anyone wants to visit.
I'm getting ready to go up our rig right now. Gotta pull off our anemometer and our Windex so they don't get broken by birds and the sun doesn't kill them. So I'm gonna do that, and then I'll do a final rig inspection before we leave, just to make sure if we need anything I know of it before we have to come back. I'm gonna cover up our Signal Mate anchor light with some foil so it doesn't get baked. It's a 5-minute project, so let's just take care of it real quick and be done with it. Grabbed our wind instruments and checked out the rig. Everything looks freaking awesome up there. Nothing's moved. Mine looks in really good shape still. It's really dirty, so that's why the mast kind of looks not shiny anymore, but my footprints just took off like a whole layer of dust. It's all shiny again up there, so it looks great. No worries, no problems. I just finished pickling the watermaker and changing the oil on that pump and took out the impeller so that it doesn't dry and crack while we're gone. Just gonna do this oil change on the engine. It's been 103 hours since we did it back in the cruise. Next thing after the engine is I'm gonna tackle the head, which is everyone's favorite. I'm gonna take it apart and just rebuild it. Doing that about once every season keeps things lubricated, keeps things good. That way when we get back to the boat, I don't have to worry about it. And everything else pretty much we can do in the yard. Today's the day that we are hauling out Avocet, and it comes with a lot of anxiety, but I think this is the first time Riss and I have hauled out the boat and didn't have a massive project list, so there's anxiety is much lower. We're gonna pull out of our slip right now, which is a very tight slip, and we have a pretty strong cross breeze, so we got some friends that are helping us, and hopefully it should go smoothly. Yeah, hopefully hauling out as soon as possible.
You!
There's nothing more nerve-wracking than watching your home and all of your possessions, including your cat, get lifted above hard ground. Luckily, the Cabrales crew took gentle care of Avocet, raising her out of the water and dipping her bow towards the yard platform where the 3 of us could abandon ship for the remainder of the event.
Here's Marissa, taking forever as always.
There we go.
The The yard crew power washed Avocet's bottom, removing the remaining sea sludge, barnacles, and whatever blue paint chipped off in the process. Her bottom was still in decent shape, with only a few visible blisters, but nothing in comparison to our first bottom job. Flashback to this monstrosity.
Okay, well, we just hauled out Avocet for the third time in total.
It's a lot scarier than when we did it in 2020 because now we have 5 years of our lives on that boat.
And all of our belongings.
So,
But yeah, it went well. We're gonna go check in with the port captain and then get some pesos and then get some dinner sooner than later. Lunch?
Yeah, lunchtime.
Say we need a bottom job.
Back in the yard, Chris got to work removing the autoprop and starting a checklist of items to purchase in the States and bring back with us when we returned in January. Meanwhile, I focused on deep cleaning and packing up the interior, which is easier said than done. Another day in the boatyard had come and gone, and we were one step closer to being home in California. But of course, we had a few more items to check off our list.
It is our second day in the boatyard. We are still in the slings, so hopefully they'll move us today. While they are moving us, we are going to go take the laundry to get done and then post up in the cruiser's lounge and get some sewing accomplished. And when I say we, I mean Chris, because we all know that Chris is the one who sews on this boat. I don't know how. So we're gonna get going on an adventure.
We hadn't washed our clothes in weeks and figured it was a good time to kick off our yard stay with clean sheets, towels, and clothes. With Olivia in tow, we headed to the nearest laundromat, where we dropped off our whole pile of dirties to be washed, fluffed, folded, and ready for pickup the next day, all for $5.
Oh God, oh God.
With Avocet settled into her new home on dry land, it was time to sew our own sunshades, a must-have for any boatyard. Sunshades protect a vessel's exterior from relentless UV exposure, preventing fading, cracking, and wear on paint and finishes. They also help shield the interior from intense heat, which can damage upholstery, electronics, and other sensitive gear. It was an ambitious project, but we were up for the challenge. And by we, of course, I mean Chris, since I can't sew to save my life. The days were flying by, but each evening we found time to kick back at Camp Kessel, our friends' makeshift hangout spot complete with a mini fridge for drinks, bistro lights for ambiance, tarps for shade, and an assortment of seats that came in the form of toilets, coolers, and busted chairs. It definitely wasn't the Ritz, but in the middle of this dust bowl, it was our slice of paradise.
Camp Kessel.
Camp Kessel. Woo! Oh, look at all these bevs in here. Bunch of bevs.
Thanks to our newfound shade, Chris and I were finally able to prep and varnish the exterior woodwork, our cockpit combing, eyebrow, and hatches. Everything was still in good shape, but we were coming up on the 3-year mark since our last coats, so this round of varnish fell under preventative maintenance.
In one day, I have successfully prepped and put on 2 coats of all wood over all of the exterior varnish. It's a big day, I'm not gonna lie. I started at about 7 a.m. and it is about 7 o'clock on the dot p.m. So that's a full day. But yeah, everything looks great. I'm really happy how it all turned out. Nice and beautiful again. Got a couple runs, but it's not bad. I honestly had to work very fast because of how warm it is. I've never put on all wood in this warm of a climate, and it's definitely different compared to what I'm used to. So working time was very, very short.
It is day 8 of being in the boatyard, and oh my gosh, we have accomplished so many things. While Chris is really focused on the outside, I have been focusing on the interior and cleaning out every single locker, every cabinet, every storage space, and purging all of the stuff we have not used or thought about in 5 years. It's honestly amazing how many things you hold on to in such a small space that you forget you have. So all of that stuff is getting moved off the boat, which is really exciting because that means next season we're going to start off with a, you know, pretty, not empty, but more minimalistic, more simplistic boat, I guess. I have to pack up my closet. I have a lot of clothes, I know. Here's my closet. It's actually, you can't really tell on the GoPro, but it goes pretty deep. So I'm fortunate enough to have the space to accommodate all of these things and everything in this giant duffel bag. So just trying to sort through it, through what I need to go home and what can stay on the boat and what needs to go away entirely, because in 5 years of boat ownership there's definitely certain things that I have not worn and it's time to get rid of them. So it's kind of like purging, just a little more dramatic. One of the biggest things on our to-do list before we left was to clean out the fridge, which means that our friends on Kessel are about to inherit all of the food we didn't eat. So got some bags of goodies, whether they want them or not. Yeah, hopefully Olivia's home. Didn't walk all the way over here for nothing. Mission accomplished. We are officially out of food on Avocet. It's a good feeling.
A few weeks earlier, Chris's big brother John had returned from his own sailing adventures aboard Prism and offered to drive our car from Shaver Lake to Peñasco. It would be 14 hours total, with one pit stop in San Diego to visit a friend he'd met while cruising. He arrived on the morning of June 22nd, ready to help us transition to the States like the Mexico cruising veteran he is. While I was emotionally ready to go, Chris was in full scramble mode, running around like a chicken with his head cut off, checking off last-minute to-dos and double-checking that we weren't leaving anything behind. Finally, the bags were packed, the boat was stowed, and we were state-bound for the summer. Cleo curled up beside me in the back seat, perched atop our belongings, blissfully unaware of the transition. If she's anything, it's well-traveled. This would be the first time in 5 years of living aboard that we would be away from our boat for more than a month. But as we gained miles towards California, I could already feel my heart being pulled back to the water, and to Avocet. It was going to be a tough summer, but at the time, I didn't even know the half of it. But all of that is next on Sailing Avocet.
We're not going for beauty points, we're just going for function.